Before we begin this morning prayer, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like this video. God, this breath I'm taking right now, it's not random. This morning, this moment, this very awakening, it's not by chance. I didn't just wake up because my body knew how. I woke up because you allowed it. You chose me for this day. Out of all the people, all the places, all the timelines you could have placed me in, you decided here, now, still breathing. And maybe that alone is enough to pause, to slow, to whisper thank you before anything else begins. Because the truth is, I could have not woken up today, but I did. And that means something. It means you're not finished with me yet. It means you still have a place for me in what you're doing in the world. It means that whether or not I feel significant this morning, I'm still part of a plan that is bigger than anything I can see right now. It means that what feels like just another Tuesday in my mind is actually an assignment from heaven, wrapped in routine, delivered with breath. God, help me not sleepwalk through that. Help me not treat this day like background noise. Help me not miss the fact that the King of the universe let me wake up again, not to earn something, but to embody something, to reflect something, to carry something. Not perfection, but presence. Not performance, but purpose. Not pressure, but promise. Because you chose me for this day, and that doesn't mean I have to accomplish something spectacular. It doesn't mean I need to impress anyone. It doesn't mean the schedule has to go flawlessly, or my energy has to be high. It simply means I belong in this moment. I wasn't an accident here. I don't need to question whether I have what it takes. If you placed me in this day, you placed enough in me to walk through it. So I breathe that in now. I let it settle deeper than the noise, deeper than the inbox, the mirror, the expectations, the headlines. I breathe in the truth that my existence is not a mistake, that even if no one thanks me today, even if nothing goes right, even if I don't check a single box off my list, this day still matters, because I'm in it, and because you are in it with me. And I ask you, God, let that awareness shape how I move today. Let it change how I speak to myself in the quiet. Let it soften how I look at others. Let it inform how I carry my time. Let it remind me that I am not here to rush toward the next thing. I am here because this day is the thing you entrusted to me, and you don't make mistakes with time. Even if I feel behind, you still chose me for this day. Even if I'm tired, you still chose me for this day. Even if I'm struggling, doubting, aching, still, this day was chosen with me in mind. So I bring you all of that now, all of me, not just the inspired parts, not just the productive parts, not just the spiritual parts. I bring you the full me, the anxious, the hopeful, the restless, the trying. I bring you the desire to live meaningfully. I bring you the fear that maybe I won't. I bring you the quiet prayer I haven't said out loud. God, please make today matter. Please let my life mean something. Please don't let me waste what you've given. So that's what I choose today. I choose to live like someone chosen. Not entitled, but entrusted. Not superior, but steady. I choose to walk like someone who didn't earn this day, but received it. Like someone who's been trusted with time, not to control it, but to carry it with grace. God, this morning I woke up remembering the truth I held so close yesterday, that you chose me for this day, that I wasn't given this breath by accident, that there's meaning running beneath every minute if I'm willing to see it. That now that the routine has returned, now that my feet are on the floor and the clock is ticking and the day has begun in its easel rhythm, I feel the old pull to forget. Not forget in the way of rejecting you outright, but in the quiet, numbing way of slipping into autopilot, of getting through the motions, of holding my purpose loosely while I clutch my task list tightly, of letting the glow of eternity fade beneath the flicker of my notifications, of assuming that if nothing spectacular is happening, then nothing sacred is happening either. But I know better, and because I know better, I'm not okay with living numb anymore. So I come to you this morning with a simple but costly request. Don't let me lose you in the ordinary, because you didn't choose me for this day just to survive it. You didn't breathe life into my lungs again just so I could collapse into the current of routine and call that a life. You didn't whisper purpose over me in the silence just to let it drown in the noise. You placed me here, not in a spotlight, not on a stage, but in the actual real moments that make up a day, with all its repetition and repetition and repetition. You placed me in the small, in the hallway conversation, in the forgotten errand, in the meeting that drags on too long, in the kitchen cleanup, in the inbox, in the silence of a room with no one else in it, in the 15 minutes where I don't know what to do next and am tempted to fill it with anything but presence. You placed me not to endure the mundane, but to carry something holy inside it. And I confess, I forget that not once in a while, but often. I forget that this desk can be an altar, that these hands, though tired, can still bless, that this glance towards someone I love can still reflect to you, that this inhale can still be sacred if I'm awake to it. So help me wake up again, not just physically, but spiritually. Wake me up from spiritual fatigue that's masked as busyness. Wake me up from the subtle lie that says if no one sees it, it doesn't matter. Wake me up from the assumption that calling and glamour should go together, that meaningful equals visible, that being known means being watched. Remind me that you never once asked me to be spectacular. You asked me to be faithful, and faithfulness doesn't always photograph well. It looks like showing up to the same responsibilities again today and bringing a heart that is still open. It looks like whispering thank you over a meal no one else is around to see. It looks like staying gentle when irritation is easier. It looks like asking for wisdom when ego wants to speak. It looks like choosing presence when distraction feels like relief. It looks like remembering I'm yours when the world forgets I exist. And maybe that's the real miracle of this morning. Not that I get to do something exciting, but that I get to live in such a way that even the unexciting becomes infused with significance. That even this silence is heard in heaven. That even my smallest act of attention is part of a kingdom story. That I'm not required to feel extraordinary to be a vessel of the extraordinary. So let me hold that today, God, not as pressure, but as peace, not as obligation, but as opportunity. Let me carry this simple, steady truth that I am not waiting to be significant. I already am, because you said so, because you don't place people randomly. You assign days like gifts, and this one, with all its ordinariness, was hand-delivered to me with intention. If I begin to drift, if I find myself scrolling through the day instead of inhabiting it, call me back with gentleness, not guilt, not shame, but with a soft reminder, you're still here. In this moment still matters. If I find myself resenting the slow pace, remind me that roots don't rush. If I find myself longing for more visible fruit, remind me that much of heaven's work grows underground first. If I find myself dismissing the worth of what I'm doing, remind me that you measured value by love, not by likes. And if I start to question again whether I'm doing enough, remind me that the enemy of purpose isn't failure, it's forgetting who I am in you. So here I am again, God, not with grand ambition today, but with humble readiness. I'm ready to let even the ordinary become worship. I'm ready to see the sacred in what I once called small. I'm ready to honor the calling of being fully present to the life I've been given, not the one I dream about, not the one I envy, not the one I might live someday, But this one, this real one, this quiet Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday morning, where maybe nothing remarkable will happen externally, but something eternal can still happen in me. I can grow. I can choose grace. I can become more kind, more aware, more honest. I can be here. I can be faithful. Let that be enough today. Not as a fallback, but as the most powerful thing I can do, to carry this ordinary day like a vessel of divine presence, to move through it like someone who knows she's been sent, to sit inside it like someone who trusts that the invisible is not inferior, to walk through it like someone who remembers God chose me for this day. God, there's a quiet ache I rarely talk about, the ache of being unseen, not entirely invisible, not utterly forgotten, but passed over just enough to make me question if I matter the way I hoped I did. It's in the moments when I speak gently into a space and no one acknowledges it, when I try to bring goodness or depth or insight and it lands without echo, when I show up consistently, not dramatically, but faithfully, and it seems like no one notices, when someone else, louder or newer or shinier, is celebrated for a thing I've been quietly doing for years. I know it's not holy to crave applause, but I also know you built me with a desire to be known, not just to serve in the shadows. And sometimes, when the shadows stretch long, when the silence persists, when the phone doesn't ring, when the gratitude doesn't come, I start to question whether this day, the one you chose me for, is choosing me back. Whether I'm doing something wrong, whether presence without recognition is even worth it. But somewhere deeper, quieter, more rooted than all of that, you meet me and say, I see you, and I always have. That sentence alone brings me to stillness, because it doesn't just acknowledge my ache, it answers it. It reminds me that I was never designed to live for visibility. I was created to live from love. I was never built to survive on being noticed. I was formed to flourish under the eyes of one who watches without judgment, who delights without condition, who chooses me not for what I do, but for who I am, simply because he made me. You see me when I give generously and no one gives back, when I clean up what others leave behind, when I listen with my full heart while others speak half present, when I remain loyal in the absence of reciprocation, when I forgive without receiving apology, when I do the same faithful work again and again without promotion or praise or platform. You see, I not only do you see, you bless, you hold, you multiply, and you whisper that I have already won something greater than recognition. I've honored the day you gave me. So let that be enough, God. Not in the way of resignation, but in the way of release. Let it be enough to be seen by you, truly seen, not through the lens of metrics or merit, but through mercy. Let it be enough to be known, not as a brand, not as a role, not as a commodity, but as a soul. A living, breathing, image-bearing human who is not required to generate proof of worth. Let me return again and again to the simple dignity of existing in your presence. Let me find joy in the secret work. Let me find beauty in the quiet yes. Let me find peace in the unacknowledged offerings I lay at your feet each day. Not because they earn me anything, but because they reflect who you are. And when I begin to compare, when I scroll through highlight reels, when I measure myself against curated noise, when I'm tempted to believe that more visibility equals more value, I rest my thoughts with compassion, not correction, but compassion. Gently bring me back to the truth. I'm still learning to live, that you are not measuring my day by its impact in the eyes of the world, but by its alignment with your heart. That faithfulness doesn't require an audience. That purpose doesn't need permission to be real. That if you chose me for this day, then you chose me knowing exactly how invisible parts of it might feel. and you still said, "Yes, I trust you with this." Help me carry that trust well. Help me sit in the quiet places without resentment. Help me honor the work that happens off stage. Help me embody dignity even when I feel overlooked. Help me remember that not being celebrated doesn't mean I'm not valuable. That not being invited doesn't mean I'm not anointed. That not being chosen by them doesn't change that I was already chosen by you, and your choosing carries more weight than every empty compliment combined. I don't want to live chasing the wrong witnesses. I want to live like someone who remembers that heaven watches differently, that angels gather around the one who perseveres in the hidden place, that the Spirit moves in rooms no camera enters, that my reward is not a retweet or a trophy, but the quiet awareness at the end of the day that I was fully present, fully honest, fully aligned with the one who placed me here on purpose. Let me work like someone whose joy isn't on the line. Let me love like someone who no longer fears rejection. Let me serve like someone who doesn't need applause to feel seen. Let me choose humility, not because I think I'm lesser, but because I know I'm secure. Let me stop explaining myself, stop selling myself, stop shrinking or performing or overcompensating. Let me settle into the peace that you already know me, already understand me, already love me, and that you're not just tolerating me in the background while focusing on someone more impressive. You are here, now, attending to every breath, every tremble, every choice to stay rooted when I could have run. And if I never get credited for the good I do today, let it still be done with joy. If no one applauds the way I showed up, let me still show up anyway. If the people I pour into never say thank you, let me pour, not for their response, but from your Spirit in me. Because if this day is holy, and I believe it is, then my presence inside it can be holy too, whether or not it is recognized, whether or not it is praised, whether or not it is seen by human eyes. You see, and for a soul that's been overlooked too many times, misunderstood too often, forgotten too easily, that seeing is enough, that seeing changes everything. So I walk forward in that awareness, not loudly, not performatively, not to prove anything to anyone, but to live honestly, to live whole, to live chosen, to remember that this day, with or without recognition, was never random. It was written with me in mind, and I will not waste that just because others don't notice what you've already called good. This morning, I come to you, not as someone ready to run into the day, but as someone barely holding herself up inside it. I don't feel radiant or eager or focused or full of faith. I feel tired. Not just the kind of tired that sleep could fix, but the kind that sinks deep into the bones, the kind that weaves itself into my breath and my thoughts and the way I move through every task. The kind of tired that comes not from doing too much, but from carrying too much for too long without knowing when it will lift. I don't know if it's weariness or soul fog or the weight of 1,000 unseen things I've kept pressing through. But I do know this. I didn't think it would feel this heavy today. And yet, here I am, awake, alive, breathing, and somehow still yours. Even in this, you chose me for this day. And honestly, I almost don't know what to do with that right now, because I don't feel like someone who should be trusted with a day, let alone called into one with purpose. But I'm learning that your choosing isn't based on how strong I feel when I wake up. It's not based on how much I believe in myself, or how put together I am, or how well I've managed my emotions, or organized my plans. You chose me because you are faithful, not because I am always ready. You chose me because you are near, not because I am always strong. You chose me because you are near, not because I am always strong, still reaching, still whispering. If you still choose me, then don't let me walk through this day alone. I need your presence more than I need energy. I need your nearness more than I need motivation. I need to know, not just theologically, but experientially, that I am not carrying this weight without help. I need you to come close to the quiet places where exhaustion has made a home. Not to scold me for being weak, but to sit with me inside the weakness until it softens, until it breathes, until it becomes something sacred instead of something shameful. Because this tiredness, as much as I want to push it away, is not a failure. It's a signal, a sign that I've been human too long without letting you be God enough in the places I've been holding too tightly. So maybe the most holy thing I can do this morning isn't rise with zeal. Maybe it's to lay down the burden of pretending I'm okay. Maybe it's to bring my low energy into high trust. Maybe it's to finally stop trying to earn the right to rest and instead let you be the one who restores. You said your strength is made perfect in weakness, and while that sounds beautiful in theory, it feels risky in reality, because weakness is where I've been hurt before. It's where I've been overlooked, dismissed, underestimated, pushed aside. But you are not like that. You don't recoil from need. You don't grow impatient with my limitations. You don't shame my slowness. You sit with me when I don't have words. You hold space for the parts of me I don't know how to explain. You breathe peace where my striving once lived. And you choose me even now, especially now. So let this be a different kind of day. Not the kind where I push through in performance, but the kind where I lean into presence. Let it be the kind of day where nothing big happens on the outside, but something tender and essential begins to happen within. Let it be the kind of day where my yes looks like breathing again, like walking slower, like not overcommitting just to feel productive, like letting love in even when I feel undeserving, like being kind to myself when I forget, like allowing stillness to be the holy thing I offer you today. Let it be the kind of day where I stop waiting to feel like someone who has it all together, and instead I live like someone held together by grace. And when shame starts whispering that I should be doing more, that I should be feeling different, that I should be stronger by now, that I should be more grateful, quiet it with truth. The truth that you don't measure my soul by out, that you don't require me to be on for you to be present, that you are not disappointed in my pace, that you're not grading me today. You're guiding me, holding me, choosing me. Even now, let me live gently inside that truth. Let it shift the way I speak to myself. Let it change what I prioritize. Let it give me permission to rest without guilt. Let it open my heart to joy that isn't attached to performance. Let it reframe this fatigue as a place you want to meet me, not avoid me. Let it help me remember that being tired doesn't disqualify me from being chosen, that fragility doesn't cancel favor, that heaviness doesn't mean I've failed. It just means I need you, and maybe that's the most honest prayer I can bring today. So I bring it, not dressed up, not polished, just this. I need you. Here, I don't need to be impressive today. I need to be real. I don't need to check everything off. I need to stay open. I don't need to convince anyone I'm strong. I need to stay soft, soft enough to feel, soft enough to pray, soft enough to still let this day speak something sacred into me. If you chose me for this day, then you knew this weariness would be part of it. You knew I'd wake up with less capacity than usual. You knew I wouldn't feel like pouring out. You knew my reserves would be low, and you still said, this one, yes, I choose you. I trust you with this sunrise. And so, in return, I choose you, not from strength, but from surrender. Not because I'm full, but because I trust you'll fill me. Not because I'm sure, but because I'm willing. Even when it's quiet, but even when it's slow, even when nothing feels remarkable. Let today still be holy, not because of what I do, but because of who you are with me. God, this morning I feel something different. Not excitement, not breakthrough, not relief or revelation, but peace. A settled, stable, unforced peace. I don't feel like I'm chasing anything. I'm not scanning the day for signs to confirm my worth. I'm not calculating how to turn today into a platform. I'm not rehearsing a better version of myself in my head. I'm simply here. In this day, the one you chose me for. The one I don't have to fight to earn. The one I don't have to perform to keep. The one that's already mine. Because you gave it. And it's strange how quiet that feels, to stand in a day and not feel the urge to prove, to defend, to hustle, to climb. To believe that nothing has to happen for this time to still be good. To know that my value is not in waiting for something better, but in being awake to what already is. I used to think that meaning would come in the form of arrival, that I'd feel purposeful once I reached a milestone, once someone recognized me, once I felt confident, once I had clarity. But something has shifted, because here I am, still becoming, still figuring things out, still navigating inner questions, and yet I don't feel incomplete. I don't feel like I'm missing my life. I feel inhabited. I feel chosen, not as a theory, but as a quiet fact that doesn't require emotion to be true. You chose me for this day, and I'm done doubting it. Not because the circumstances have changed, not because I've become someone grand, but because I've finally stopped resisting the simplicity of your love. I've finally stopped confusing pressure with purpose. I've finally stopped waiting for the world to affirm what you already settled in the beginning, that I was made on purpose, that I was placed intentionally, and that this day, no matter how ordinary, was assigned to me by divine hands. So I take it up slowly, carefully, not in fear, but in reverence. I take up the small conversations I'll have today as sacred. I take up the mundane tasks as sacred. I take up the pauses as sacred. I take up the limits, even the things I cannot do, cannot fix, cannot change. And instead of resenting them, I let them teach me where trust begins. I stop trying to squeeze eternity out of achievement. I start honoring the moments where nothing happens, but something shifts, where nothing moves, but something roots. I want to be someone who honors what you give, even when it doesn't look impressive. I want to live like someone who knows the weight of time is real, not heavy like a burden, but solid like a gift. I want to resist the temptation to escape the life I already have. I want to stop fantasizing about another version of myself that's somehow more worthy of being chosen. And instead, I want to walk in the full reality that you chose this version of me, the one still growing, still healing, still uncertain, still in process. You saw this exact version of me and still said, yes, this one, this soul, this body, this life. Let that be the ground I walk on today. Let that be the tone in my voice. Let that be the reason I'm not defensive in conversation. Let that be why I stop trying to fix everyone around me. Let that be why I smile more, why I breathe deeper, why I stay still longer. Because I'm not trying to escape anymore. I'm not trying to become worthy. I'm trying to live fully in the truth that I already am, not by my doing, but by your design. This day is not waiting to become special. It already is. Not because of what I accomplish, not because of who sees me, but because of who sent me into it and because of how I choose to be here, fully. Not with ideal conditions, not with extra energy, not with some brilliant plan, but with awareness, with humility, with attention, with openness to let you teach me through everything I used to call small. Let this be the kind of day that changes me in ways I won't even realize until later. Let this be the kind of day where I say less, but mean more, where I strive less, but notice more, where I resist less and receive more. Let this be the kind of day that doesn't depend on the next thing to feel valuable. Let this be the kind of day where I feel no pressure to post, to perfect, to prove. Let this be the kind of day that feels enough, because it is, because you are in it. And if at any point I forget, if the world's messages grow louder than this prayer, if urgency returns like a flood, if insecurity creeps back in like fog, remind me of this exact stillness, this clarity, this place of settledness that isn't fragile because it's not built on me. It's built on you, and you are not fickle. You are not shifting. You are not surprised by my ups and downs. You are not thrown by my sensitivity. You hold steady when I waver. You stay constant when I crack. You speak life when I forget how to hope. And you keep choosing me again and again and again. So let me leave this space of prayer without leaving this posture of awareness. Let me walk through doorways and traffic and errands and lists with the same grounded knowing I feel right now, that you go with me, that you have gone before me, that you are in what looks unimportant, that nothing today will be wasted. Not one breath, not one effort, not one quiet act of love. Because when I live like someone chosen, I stop needing everything to be extraordinary. I start seeing how much glory lives in the normal. I start witnessing how holiness hides in the ordinary. I start remembering that I never needed a bigger life to carry more purpose. I just needed to be present to the one I already have. So here I am, God, not reaching for the next thing, not aching for a breakthrough, just breathing in the reality that this is sacred space, that this is my life, and that you gave it, that you trusted me with it, that you're forming me through it, that you're meeting me in it, not later, not someday, not once I feel more ready, but right now, in this moment.